Hello and welcome back to The Road Darkened. It's been quite the break thanks to the busyness of work, but we're going to look at the third quest, the Breaking of the Fellowship. So, you are playing in campaign mode, starting with the first player. Each player chooses one of the following boon cards: File of Galadriel, 3 golden hairs, Lorien rope, or Leaf-wrapped lembas, and attaches it to a hero he controls. The chosen cards have been earned by the players. Shuffle followed by Night and Ill Fate into the encounter deck. But I will say this to you. Your quest stands upon the edge of a knife. Stray but a little, and it will fail, to the ruin of all. Galadriel, the Fellowship of the Ring. So, let's have a look at those boons before we do anything else. So, we have no focus. We have the File of Galadriel, 0 cost obviously, because it's set up attached to a hero in play. Item gift. Add the File of Galadriel to the victory display and remove it from the campaign pool to give each enemy engaged with you -4 attack until the end of the round. May it be a light to you in dark places when all other lights go out. Galadriel, the Fellowship of the Ring. The Lorien rope, 0 cost, set up attached to a hero in play. Add Lorien rope to the victory display and remove it from the campaign pool to give each location in the staging area -2 threat until the end of the phase. What a piece of luck you had that rope. Oh no, Frodo. What a piece of luck you had that rope. Frodo, the 2 towers. Spoilers, more books. Leaf-wrapped lemba spread. Oh man, looks so good. Item gift attached to here in play. Add leaf-wrapped lembas to the victory display and remove it from the campaign pool to ready all heroes in play. Often in their hearts they thanked the Lady Lorien for the gift of lembas, for they could eat of it and find new strength even as they ran. And last but not least, 3 golden hairs. Attached to a hero in play, add the 3 golden hairs to the victory display and remove it from the campaign pool to lower each player's threat by 3, then each player draws 3 cards. Your hand shall flow with gold, and yet over you gold shall have no dominion. Ah, cool. That's awesome. Your hand shall flow with gold, and yet over you gold will have no dominion. Very cool. Well, I'm going to pick the File of Galadriel because it's all about defense, and that's one of the things. Well, it's defense in that the enemies will have no attack, and that's one of the things that my deck will struggle the most with. I'm going to give it to Sam because he's a noble hero, so he can be trusted with the file. Although it is one of those, like, you can only use it once and then it's gone, like, for the whole of the time you play the saga. And obviously I'm going to be envisaging that I will be playing future saga expansions with these guys, so I'm going to be very restrained on its use. Now, we have some other burdens. Obviously Gandalf's delay has stayed with us, as did Mr. Underhill, as did Noble Hero, but from the previous quest, we've also had 2 treachery cards. We picked up 4 treachery cards because the Balrog was in play. Overcome by Grief, which I did wrong in the previous video. This will be attached to a hero once a character is destroyed, and basically it almost means they miss a go because they won't be able to ready for a turn. So that is much worse than the way I was playing it. Grievous Wound, however, is even worse. After a hero takes damage, that will mean that after the hero exhausts, it takes another damage, and with my low hit point hobbits, it will kill them pretty quickly. Shadow of Fear, Doom. This is an encounter treachery. Doomed 1 Surge. When revealed, treat the text box of each character in play as blank, and as a shadow card, the defending character doesn't count its defense. And Pursued by the Enemy. Doomed 1 Surge. When revealed, each enemy engaged with a player and not in the staging area makes an immediate attack, and as a shadow, the attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. All horrible, and there's more horror to come. So let's look at the scenario setup. The Great River. Having barely escaped from Moria, the Company of the Ring flees into the forest of Lorien, where they are welcomed by the elves of the Golden Wood and supplied with boats and other gifts by their lord and lady, Celeborn and Galadriel. After a brief rest, they set out upon the River Anduin. Setup. Set Frodo's Choice, the Seat of Seeing, and Path Galen aside, out of play. Add the Argonath and Sarn Gabir to the staging area. I've put those 3 cards out of play, and we're not going to look at them yet. We'll have a look later. Let's take a look what's in our staging area, though. So we have Sarg Gabir, 3 threat, 4 progress required, River, immune to player card effects, Forced, when San Gabir is explored, deal 1 damage to each exhausted character, which is really bad because of Grievous Wound that we picked up from the previous treachery. So if I've got any heroes exhausted when that happens, that wound will become a Grievous Wound. So, boats of the elves would not sink, maybe, he said, but that does not say that we should come through San Gabir alive. None have ever yet done so. Boromir, the Fellowship of the Ring. And the Argonath. I'm really very good at putting my thumb in the way today. Threat X, 2 progress required, immune to player card effects. X is the number of players in the game. The players cannot travel here while San Gabir is in play, while the Argonath is the active location. Skip the combat phase. Behold the Argonath, the Pillars of the Kings. Aragorn, the Fellowship of the Ring. So those are in the staging area. These need to get shuffled into the deck. These will be in the staging area ready to be attached. And let's just flip. Oh, look at that colouring. The Great River. 1B, 12 progress required. So the company went on their long way, down the wide hurrying waters, borne ever southwards. Bare woods stalked along either bank, and they could not see any glimpse of the lands behind. Enemies get +2 defence and cannot be engaged. Skip the encounter phase. The players cannot advance while the Argonath is in play. So there won't be any fighting or any damaging of enemies, which means they could build up quite quickly. So we've got to get a move on. How unusual for Lord of the Rings. Usually it's such a sedentary event. Where does it mention? Where does it mention ill fate? Where does it mention? Ah, sorry. Right. Right, I should have mentioned these treacheries earlier because they need to be shuffled into the encounter deck. Ill Fate, amazing. Peril, Surge, when revealed, attached to a hero you control, counts as a condition attachment with the text. Forced, after a character you control is destroyed, raise your threat by 2. Oh, God, that's horrible. And another piece of amazing art, followed by Night. Peril, Surge, when revealed, put the topmost enemy of the encounter discard pile into play engaged with you. Oh, sorry, there are quotes. I'm not reading the quotes. Alas, an ill fate is on me this day, and all that I do goes amiss. Aragorn, Fellowship of the Ring. And followed by Night. Quite apart from murder by night on his own account, he may put any enemy that is about on our track. Aragorn, Fellowship of the Ring. Aragorn, why are you all over these treacheries? So they need to be shuffled in, along with the other 2 that I picked up from the previous quest. And these horror cards sit here. Meanwhile, San Gabir and the Argonath sit in the staging area. Oh, such a scale of disaster. It will be slightly heartbreaking if one of the hobbits dies in this and breaks. I mean, I suppose in theory, of course, there is still Fatty Bolger and Bilbo in terms of making a pure hobbit party. But I mean, these guys, thematically, they're just so cool together, but then mechanically, they also work so well together. Right, so I've got to do my starting hand of 5. I'm definitely going to be looking for Miners of the Iron Hills and or Elrond, because their ability to discard a condition attachment will make Overcome by Grief and Grievous Wound not nearly as crippling. However, I have played this quest, as with the other ones. I'd played them all once before I did these videos, and so I know that if anyone's going to get Overcome by Grief, it's going to be our dear friend the Ringbearer, for reasons that are somewhat obvious if you have seen the movies. Right, there's the encounter deck done. So, player deck. I've got my starting threat of 20. Come on, Mine of the Iron Hills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what we got. We've got Galadriel. Well, can't argue with the theme of that. Resourceful. also good. Another resourceful, not nearly as good, because I won't be able to play them both in the first turn of the game. Fast Hitch, and the Dagger of Westerness. Nope, that's not going to do it. One ally and it's Galadriel, so I know that we're skipping the encounter phase, but I need allies to really do the Argonath exploring. No, not the Argonath exploring, the San Kabir exploring, so that I won't be putting Grievous Wound onto a hero. Or I need a means of removing Grievous Wound. Oh, so much bad news. Grievous Wound, I mean, how much can you hate one condition? Basically, that hero won't be doing anything again without killing themselves. So basically, I mean, on the one hand, you're tempted to put them both on Frodo and just never exhaust him. But then, of course, if there's a condition that says exhaust the ring bearer or something like that, then you're really buggered. I mean, I suppose you could put it on Pippin and just basically say, Pippin, you're never doing anything again. So let's see. Now we are stuck with Gandalf. Not a bad thing to be stuck with. Defender of Ramas. Be good when the enemies start coming out. Frodo's Intuition, just the best card in the deck. Hobbit Cloak, good, gives us option of Sam as a defender. And Barleyman, you know, a solid card. Not everything that I need to see, but there we go. So, at the moment, the staging area has got 4 threat, and no enemies can be engaged, and we skip the encounter phase, and we skip the combat phase. So, turn 1. Oh, dear. Can't believe the number of videos I've done, I've never done that. Fate, never a bad card to see. Admittedly, as we just said, there won't be any combat phases or anything like that. But it's a good card to have in your hand. So, in terms of what we can play, obviously we could play the Hobbit Cloak, but won't be getting attacked, so don't really need to worry about that. Can't play Frodo's Intuition yet, can't play Gandalf yet. See, Gandalf would be a perfect hero to finish off San Kabir. Ally. That's how highly I think of him. So, I have no qualms about sending everyone, because there is no encounter phase, and there is no enemy. There is no encounter phase, and there is no combat phase. So, no, there is a combat phase, but there is no encounter phase. So, that means enemies can't come and get us. So, 1 card. Ooh, let's start off with the Treachery. Peril. When revealed, either move 1 enemy engaged with you to the first player staging area, or growing threat gains Doomed 2 and Surge. Well, just have to keep with that, won't I? So, 2 threat. I don't really want to be using Frodo's resources on this when I want to play Frodo's Intuition. And Surge, a location. The Wooded Shoreline, 3 threat, 4 progress, River Forest. While the Wooded Shoreline is in the staging area, it gains Archery 2. Travel, search the encounter deck and discard pile for an enemy and add it to the staging area to travel here. Shuffle the encounter deck. Wow, what a lovely place. Now, with Archery, I want to say that is at the start of the combat phase. Beginning of each combat phase. So if I leave that in the combat phase, if I leave that in the staging area, it's going to do 2 damage, and I have no one to put that on that isn't one of my heroes. So basically we have to go there right away, because we don't skip the combat phase until we get to the Argonath. 3, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 3 progress, which is nothing to sniff at. Right, I mean, we've got to go to the Wooded Shoreline. I can't have my hobbits being shot with arrows. So I've got to search the encounter deck, basically, for a discard. Or discard pile for an enemy. Urukai Tracker. He's got Archery on his card, so we don't want him. Urukai Hunter. Or draw out more cards, or make an attack. Then Urukai Archer again. Guess what he's got? Archery. Do we have any other enemies to choose from? It's starting to look like we don't. Oh, Urukai Captain. Not even going to bother reading him because he's going to be horrific. Right, so I guess if I don't want to just get shot full of arrows, it's going to have to be the Urukai Hunter. That's so irritating. The archery is going to absolutely annihilate me. Does it matter where it is? Well, it's in play. Oh, it's just in play. Ugh. It's awful. Right. So, and what was the text on Wooded Shoreline? Is it revealed? Add it to the staging area. So it hasn't been revealed, I guess. So I don't need to do the one revealed text on there. So that's a small comfort. Oh dear. That's a lot of threat as well. So there's no encounter phase, so I can't voluntarily engage him. Not that I obviously would right now, but he wouldn't actually be... I mean, 4 attack, with a Hobbit Cloak on Sam, I stand a good chance of resisting the hit. And Merry could kill him. But, oh dear. Dear. What a terrible first turn. So, 23 threat. We all ready? Resources, 1 more to Frodo. 1 more to everyone else. Draw a card. Another Barleyman Butterbeer. A Barleyman Butterbeer. Right. Okay, so Frodo's Intuition. So 4 cards. Dagger of Westerness. Another Defender of Ramas. Well, I say another. That was the previous draw. Swift Strike. A lot of tactics cards coming out here. And Resourceful. Right. Right, well, we definitely need an ally on the table. Defender of Ramas is not going to be as helpful as Barleyman, because Barleyman could take arrows, basically. And I've got other uses for my tactics resources. So there's 2 to get Barleyman into play. Do I spend 4 resources to play... Oh, I have got another Defender of Ramas to get Resourceful into play so that I can get these tactics characters onto the table. I've got 2 tactics allies. Do you know what? I think I do. So, Merry. Ooh, the other option is to play Gandalf, lower my threat, and therefore I'll be able to play Resourceful for cheaper. Yes, instead let's do that. So, Pippin, have your resources back. We all play Gandalf for 5, lower our threat by 5, taking it down to 18, then play Resourceful for 1 onto... I mean, I've got 2 Barleymans, but I've got tons of tactics cards, so let's put it onto Merry. Right, let's hope this crazy plan pays off. Right then, questing. Again, no reason for everyone not to go. And we've got to make some serious progress ASAP. Right, 1 card. The Slopes of Amon Hen. Three threat, 3 progress, travel. A player at this staging area must engage an enemy in the staging area to travel here. How does that work with Enemies cannot be engaged. No, they cannot be engaged, so I can't engage them. So I can't travel there. Simple. Right, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18 minus 9 is 9. So that's 4 progress onto the wooded shoreline and 5 progress onto our main area, which leaves us only 4 off, which is good. Let's go to San Gabir. Right. Don't quite know how we're going to do San Gabir without someone dying, but there we go. So Gandalf leads play. Oh, does that count as... Oh no, he's not been destroyed, so Overcome by Grief doesn't come into play. That's good. Right, next round, thread up to 19. Another card, Guard of the Citadel. And that is 2 resources for Merry, 1 for Pippin, 1 for Sam, and 1 for Frodo. Right, so... we'll get a Defender of Ramas onto the table. And I'll hold on to Sam's resource because we should aim for the Guard of the Citadel rather than the Hobbit Cloak. Now, when we finish San Gabir, each exhausted character is going to take a damage. At the moment, there is 6 threat in the staging area. If we quest with the standard lot, that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 10, which would be 4 progress. So if we get a treachery, that would be a wound to all of them, and grievous wound. Right, okay then. Okay. There's no point hanging around, because we'll just die. So, let's send the lot. We've got to. There's no other choice. Right then, wooded shoreline. Cool. So that's more of that archery nonsense. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're 10. So that's a mere 1 progress. Which means there's going to be 2 archery. Which means even if I kill the defenders of Ramas, I've still got to put a wound onto a hero, which basically now will render that hero useless. Well, let's do it then. So, wound onto Frodo, kill the defender of Ramas, so Frodo has both... Oh, hang on, no. Because he'll already be exhausted. Oh no, which means this is basically killing this is going to kill a hero outright, apart from Sam. And it then means I can't use Sam again. I honestly don't know how I don't lose this game right now. Okay then, so A wound to the defender of Ramas. A wound to Pippin. Pippin gets grievous wound. Defender of Ramas dies. Pippin gets overcome by grief. End of the round. Oh, it's after they exhaust, not after they ready. Oh, okay, then in that case, let's put the wound onto Frodo, and he's just never going to exhaust again. Right. Okay, well, that was a complete disaster. Throw it up by 1. Draw a card. Unseen Strike. Hooray! Look at all these combat abilities. But I have no way of getting through that wall of threat. Right, Barleyman. Get in there. And Guard of the Citadel. Get in there. And Defender of Ramas. Get in there. Right. Oh, we've got so little chance of doing this. Right. Guard, Barleyman, Pippin, Merry, and Sam. Off you go. When revealed, discard an ally you control, and more archery. I mean, how on earth am I supposed to stop all this blinking archery? Well, I'm not really going to get a much better choice here, am I? So discard another Defender of Ramas. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No progress. That's 3 points of archery. Crippling both of these. Next round. God, I hate archery. Anduriel. Yeah. I don't really see me coming back from this. Just not been able to make enough progress. You know, not being able to attack these enemies, not being able to explore these locations, it's just crippling me. Right, we may as well play Anduriel. 1, 2... 3. I've got nothing else I can play that's worth playing. So, questing, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Barleyman, Guard. Another location, Brother Anduin. And this is just so entirely moot by this point. Well, it's in the staging area. It gains forced at the end of the travel phase. Each player at this stage raises his threat by 1, then Brother Anduin moves to the next staging area to the left if able. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's the threat that goes up. That's archery 3, which is dead, and a wound. Oh, no, overcome by grief. Oh, I've not read how that card works properly. Once a character leads play, you have to exhaust the hero. Once they exhaust, they take a wound. So I read that wrong anyway, so they die. Which is a fitting mistake because this has been a massive series of errors. Even if I'd put it on Pippin, let's say, and I'd drawn Faramir, I wouldn't be able to get him out fast enough. So, Fellowship didn't hang on the edge of a knife. The Fellowship was stabbed repeatedly in the gut by the edge of the knife and shot full of arrows as they got lost. Well, that was very disappointing.